Hello, my YouTube family and friends. I pray that everyone's having a beautiful, blessed Saturday afternoon. It's almost 5 o'clock here, and I'm not for sure what time or day it is where you are at, but I pray you are having a beautiful, blessed day, and I pray that you have done something today that represented Jesus. I pray you were already blessed when He woke you up this morning. I pray that you did bless somebody else today. So if you have not said it already, let's say it together. Thank you, Jesus, for another day. Y'all, I just want to reiterate this. I know y'all tired of me hearing me say this, but I'm just, you see the background, see that picture on the wall, see them blinds. I'm in my bedroom, of course, but I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful, y'all, that we are in our own place. And God is so faithful. He's just generous. He's patient with us when we make bad moves or what we consider bad moves. Even if whatever the enemy meant to take us out or meant for our failure or meant for our bad, God will make it for our good. And I'm so thankful just because of that. And it's just a blessing. It's a blessing. And I can't stress it enough because, I know what it's like to what people call, well, a lot of people, our people that we knew closely, were real close to us, were saying that we were homeless, And I said, well, no, I said, because we had shelter, I had money, but they said, no, you're homeless because you don't have a place, you don't have we're staying in a hotel, you don't have a place where you reside, a permanent place, so you're homeless, just talking down to his family. And God, He showed up and showed out. He showed up and showed out. And I am so thankful. I was telling somebody at work, I said, until you have had to go without, until you have had to not have something for a while, or if maybe you never had it, you don't truly appreciate it until God allow you to get it back or allow you to receive it. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm in my thankful season. I'm in my honest season, my thankful season, and my open hand season. I want to receive every blessing that Jesus has for me and my children. And I always tell them, I say, we all in this together. We came here together. We left Tennessee together. We made it to Colorado together by God's grace and mercy. And we're going to stay together, until they see fit, to fly on their own. But I told them I don't mind helping them or whatever mama needs to do. But I just wanted to share that because I feel like somebody out there needs to hear this. Be thankful for whatever state that you find yourself in, whatever situation, what I'm trying to say, whatever situation you find yourself in, be thankful. Be thankful and be content. Have a heart of contentment because, a lot of times we looking for one thing, and the Lord is trying to teach us something in that thing that we're in. We're looking to get out of that thing, but He said, "Oh, I got you. I want to teach you something." Because had I thought about that just a few minutes ago before I hopped on here. We had to. I believe we had to meet the lady from our church. I didn't know her prior to me being introduced to her for us moving in with her for those 3 months, but we had to go by way of her so we could get this blessing. God orders our steps. He orders our steps. And, a lot of times it don't feel good. We're trying to figure out what's going on, what's happening, but we'll understand it better by and by. But I didn't come on here to talk about that, but the Holy Spirit wanted me to, that's for somebody. Be content. Whatever you find yourself in, if you ain't got no car, if you ain't got no house, if you ain't got no place of your own, if you living with somebody, whatever the situation, if you ain't got no job right now, God He gonna bless you. He gonna help you get through that situation, but you got to trust Him. You have to trust Him. And a lady that I work with, she made me a sign, and I gotta find somewhere to hang it up in here because it's a constant reminder. I had it at my job, but I brought it home because I wanted to put it in my bedroom. But it has my name, and then it has a comma, and it says, "Trust me, God." I think that's how it's written. Trust me, and then it say Jesus at the bottom, and she made a heart right there by Jesus' name. So, and I had it in, my office where I work, of course, where I work at, and everybody would come in there and we'll be talking about something, witnessing about Jesus, and I'll point to that sign. I say, you see that sign? That's a reminder for me every day when I come in here to work. And so they say, yeah, that's right. But I wanted to talk about today. I want to talk about what happened with my car, with my vehicle. I had a 2019 SUV. It was an Infiniti QX50, and it got repossessed. And so I had made a video, and that's why I don't have a car right now. But God, He already told me He gonna bless me with another car this year. But I just gotta be patient. But I shared a video. It's been a while ago when we were staying in an extended stay hotel, and that was a little, of course, real close to when it had got repossessed. I think it was just a few weeks later or something. But anyway, it was just a lot going on at that particular time, and that was summer of last year, and it just seemed like everything was falling apart, but it really was not. God was putting me back together again, and just everything. Now that I think about it, things seemed like they was just breaking down for me, and I seemed like I just couldn't catch a break. But look at me now. God, I'm still with God. God's still with me. He's still with me and my children, and He's still helping us. Like how He has always helped us. Nobody gets the credit but Him. The honor, glory, and praise for Him. But I just want to share this because I want to help somebody in their situation, or encourage somebody. So I want to take you back to when we were living in Tennessee. After my late husband passed away, well, before he passed away, so we had like 4 cars. 4 vehicles. So, and I'm not bragging, y'all. Don't think I'm coming on here trying to show you what I used to have. No, I'm going somewhere with this because I want to show you how God will still provide and still will bless you with little, with much, with whatever. He'll still bless you if you're faithful and you trust Him. So right before, of course, way before my late husband passed away, he loved cars. He loved just a beautiful car. He had a Camaro, we had an Armada, we had a Lexus, and these cars weren't new, of course. They were, a little older, but he kept them. I mean, you would have thought they were brand new because he believed in keeping a clean car inside and out. He just made sure they were all clean. He would take them on Sunday morning and get them washed and vacuum out. It was just a thing for him. He's like, I believe, a man's supposed to have a good, clean car. And so he would get on me all the time because he'll clean the car Sunday morning, and I go to work that next week, and he'll get in the car to drive it for whatever reason before the week was out. He said, I just cleaned that car, because I get in there and waste chips or something. And so he said, I just cleaned that car. I said, I know, but like he would, this would be routine for him every Sunday if it didn't rain. If it rained, forget about it. He didn't take him, of course, he didn't take it to the car wash. He couldn't. But going back, so we had those 4, we had, and then I had before I got the SUV Infiniti 2019, I had a G37 Infiniti black, a four-door sedan car, whatever. And so I ended up getting that car online from him searching. He would always research a car, and he researched through Carfax and make sure it hadn't been any accidents, and he'll just study that car, and he'll say, you like this car? I said, He said, you don't know nothing about cars. And then he'll, he just always go bounce it back and forth to see if I liked it. And next thing I know, we had the car. But he studied the car, Like I said, he had a love for it, for the vehicles. And he didn't, like I said, he didn't just want to get a car. He studied it. He saw what type of deal, they had to sell it and this, that, and the other. So anyway, again, he had a sports car. And nobody could drive that but him, because he tried to teach me how to drive a straight shift. I just couldn't catch on for whatever reason. And he used to always say, anything happen to me, what y'all gonna do? And it happened just like that, because nobody in the house, my youngest son, my oldest son, nobody knew how to drive that vehicle. So anyway, I'll get to that in a little bit. But so we had those 4 cars. So we had 3 cars. And we had the Armada truck. and I think it was like a 2005, 2006. The Lexus was 2007. My car was a 20, I think 13 or something. I think it was a 2013. And 2015 was one of those. And then it's been so long, y'all. And then what was the other car? And then he had a Camaro. The Camaro was 20. His car was the newer car. His car, I think, was a 20. I don't know, 16 or something. I can't remember. But anyway, I think his car was the newer car. So all the cars were black except for the Armada. It was gray. And so he liked black cars or whatever, or it just sort of, I don't think it was intentional. He just, it ended up being that way. So anyway, people come over to the house, relatives, whoever, and say, y'all get out of, what y'all doing out of them cars? Of course we had car notes, we had insurance, but on the outside, it like we just had it going on. But like I said, he would always like thinking ahead. So he was thinking about, our children, he was thinking about our children, basically, when they get older, when they start out driving, whatever, they got a car, they got a vehicle. That's what, he was just trying to think ahead. So it wasn't just for show and just for him to sit out there. He was thinking about them, and stuff like that. That's just how he was. He was a good man, he's a good father, husband, provider, all of that. So, but to other people who only had maybe one car in their driveway, and that was by choice, because a lot of them could have had that too. But they, they would look upon us like, who y'all think y'all are? I'm talking about people back in Tennessee. Who y'all think y'all are? Got all these cars, and you can only drive one. Say little derogatory remarks or comments or whatever. Like whatever. And like I said, it wasn't like those vehicles were paid for. We were paying on them. And we were, to be honest, we sort of, we was. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. So, again, he studied, I ended up having, like I said, the newer car that came into the family was the G37 Infiniti. And so we ended up going to a city in Tennessee, another city than what we lived in. And we ended up getting a car. I didn't even know I was going to get that car because when they pulled around, you know how they do, you go and look online and they say, yeah, come, we can work out something with you, whatever. And you send all your information online, and you got to show proof of employment, this, that, and the other. So we went on a Saturday and we stayed there for a long time. And I think the children were with us too, but we stayed there so late because we had to go to church. We still went to church Sunday. But they finally, said, we got a car for you. And we looked at, I don't know, me or him, I don't forget which one, noticed the car they pulled around. And I was like, and I thought initially, I thought it was like a Nissan, which is the same type of under Nissan Infiniti. But I said, what is that car? And so as we, walked closer to it, we realized it was an Infiniti. And we had never had that type of car, And so I think he said initially he didn't like it because he had already looked at another type of car. So he was, but he was more interested, he said, do you like it? And we went test drive, whatever. So that, you know what they do? They say, well, y'all take it home. So we had like an hour and a half drive or whatever, and we were just talking and stuff. And he had told me, he said, don't drive this car to church. He said, because we don't even know if we're going to keep it. We don't know if something fall through, you won't be embarrassed. And I was like, oh, I don't care. But I was so happy, y'all, because like I said, it was a newer car. It was newer at that time because he hadn't got the Camaro yet. And so it was nice. I had all these gadgets on the inside. And I'm like, I'm driving this tomorrow. So against what he told me to do, I drove it. And why did I do that? Everybody noticed that it was a different car in the church parking lot. Dad, you got a new car? You got a new car? And he said, I told you don't do that. And I jumped right in that car that morning. So anyway, we ended up keeping the car or whatever. And, that's when your haters come after woodworks because, they got nice cars. But when you get something new, y'all know how it go. When you get something nice, probably there's nicer, I wasn't thinking like that, but that car was nice. It was pretty too, just black and black on black. And so you know, but it was, it felt so good to have, you know, in a newer car. And I jumped out of the Lexus and got in that car. I was driving that car all the time. So anyway, that brought a lot of attention to us. And then, you know, more than often frequent visits to our house, because people trying to figure out, well, where y'all get that car from, you know. And he you know, he was very private. My late husband, he didn't give out he didn't let you know his little secrets and how he did stuff. And you just, you know, you basically just assumed with him, because he wasn't gonna tell you much. And so I was, you know, I would sort of give you a little bit more information than he would, but you would get nothing out of him. So anyway, time went on. So fast forward to after he, just trying to give you a little visual there. So after he, so when he passed away, those were the cars that we had. And the Lexus was not working when he passed away, because we didn't have the money to get it fixed. The car, you know, that's all computerized, whatever. So it was just under the carport thing, you know, just sitting up basically. And he said, you know, I don't have no money to get it fixed. We couldn't get the door to unlock, and it was the what was it? The computer system had basically shut down, sort of. So anyway, he said, when I get some money, I get it fixed. So of course he never was able to get it fixed, because he was gonna pass away. And so the truck was, we had to put it in at the storage, which was not far from where we lived, because, you know, we didn't have a lot of room at our house to park all these cars. We could make it work. We would put one in the, you know, in the grass, and the other three here strategically plate park where all of the cars could fit, but it was, you know, it was a little crowded up there. So anyway, he said, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the truck to the storage, and I just pay storage and keep it there, because that was a little, you know, it was just a lot we didn't drive it a lot. And then as the kids got older, we didn't hardly drove it at all. So it was just basically at the storage. We paid storage for it to be there. And of course, that's where it was at when he passed away. So anyway, the ones that we frequently drove were the Lexus, the Infiniti, and then my youngest son had his car. So we had 3 cars at the house. And so, so yeah, so when he passed away, like I said, you know, we ended up, oh, and then, I'm sorry, the Camaro. Yeah. So those were the 4 cars there. And so, after, you know, everything's kind of sunk into my brain that he's no longer here. So I had got my family member to help me, and he said, what do you want to do with the Camaro? Because you know, nobody can drive it. It's just sitting around. And I said, yeah, we probably need to sell it. So I ended up selling it to CarMax, and they ended up, you know, giving me a pretty good amount on it. This was back in 2021, of course. And then and y'all stay with me. I'm going somewhere with them, because I'm gonna get to what happened. And so my son, youngest son, ended up getting another car than what he had when his dad passed away. And then the Lexus, I ended up getting it, you know, fixed up and everything. So what remained was, and of course we have none of these vehicles now. We have none of them, because my youngest son, he even has a newer car. But the cars that we had when my late husband passed away was the Lexus, my youngest son's car that he had at that time, the Armada, and then the Camaro. And so, and I'm sorry, my Infiniti. So my Infiniti, the Armada, which was at the storage, my youngest son's car, the Lexus, and the Camaro. I don't know if I said it right, but anyway, those were the cars we had. And so we ended up selling the Camaro. Like I said, I got a pretty good deal on it. And then I think it was probably on into 2022. I wasn't even thinking about it, because I was working from home then. You know, just they gave me time off work after he passed away, and said, you know, when you come back in the office. And honestly, I didn't want to go back in the office, because I didn't want to deal with all the questions. I didn't want to deal with all the, you know, you okay? You know, I was so at peace being at home, you know, still trying to be there for my daughters, because they were still in high school. And I was just like, oh, I just feel like if I go in the office, that's going to put me, you know, I'm just going to, you know, I'm not going to be in the place of peace I'm at here in the house. So, and at this time, you know, I didn't know that we were leaving. God had, I don't believe God had revealed to me then that we were leaving Tennessee. So anyway, but it was coming. And so my youngest son, he was just a super help. He said, Mama said, do you think you need a, and I know it was nobody but God, because the car, the SUV, we needed that to get here. And so he said, Mama, do you think you want another car, like a SUV? And I said, and me and my late husband, we talked about it a few times, you know, about, he was asking me, did I want one? And I said, well, you know, the kids are big now. I said, you know, I don't really see a need. I said, unless you, you know, maybe for the grandchildren. But I said, you know, we got some, you know, we got a few cars here. So, you know, it's just, it never, you know, it came down to that. But he had started looking, but he was like, well, you know, and then he stopped. But we actually had discussed that, but he never, like, you know, pursued it. And so, so anyway, my youngest son, he said, yeah, I said, so he started looking on different car sites and stuff, and he found a place in Georgia. And he said, Mama, he said, the salesman said, can we come Saturday? You know, that Saturday. And I said, son, what you talking about? He said, because he had looked up a few places in Tennessee, and none of them I was really interested in. He'll send me a picture of the car. And he's trying to help me. And I said, well, you know, I'm not really wanting another car. I said, but, you know, that car wasn't really giving, that G37 Infiniti wasn't really giving me any trouble. But, you know, I sort of didn't want another car, but sort of did. So anyway, we ended up going, we left early Saturday morning, me, him, and girls. And we drove to Georgia. And we stayed there, y'all. Got there early that Saturday morning. We was there all day. Like, we had clocked in for work, and they was doing their deals, you know. What you know, and so the Infiniti QX50, it was white. It was pearl white, and it was sitting outside, and like, you know, when you pull up. And so it was a what do you call it? It's a certified vehicle. I think that's what you call it, pre-certified or whatever you call them. And so the guy said, I got a vehicle out here that we probably can can make it yours. And I said, what? And so he took me outside, and I was like, whoa. And I, you know, right away, y'all, you know how you feel like, am I even deserving it? Do I need it? You know, because it was like, this car look like somebody that got a lot of money. This car look like somebody that's rich. Yes, I am rich. I'm rich in Jesus. But what I'm saying, you know, at that time, I was like, am I gonna be, you know, there immediately, my mind, because that car was beautiful, y'all. It was clean. They had just put new brakes, new tires on it or whatever. It was shining. It was just shining. And it was like, come get me. It was like it was saying, come get me. But again, we went on a test drive, and he said, go on and get and test drive. And I you know, I wasn't used to all these gadgets, because it was remote start and all this. The seat warmed up, and the steering wheel was warmed up. I wasn't used to all that. Now the G37 had a seat. I think it had a seat warmer. Your seat, whatever you call it, but I don't think it had the steering wheel. It may have the steering wheel, I can't remember. But anyway, this SUV Infiniti had everything. It had all the bells and whistles, and I was just like, whew. The navigator system, the thing telling you when you vehicle too close to you, or you too close to vehicle. It was just a lot of stuff going on. I was like, whoa. You know, Bose sound system, everything. And I was like, whoo. So anyway, they wheeled and dealed, and we ended up leaving there about, I think it was late, because the kids, they were hungry, and I was like, y'all just let's stick with this, because I know we all hungry. But it, you know, I felt like it was worth it. They said, Mama, you know, we hungry. And they, you know, they was eating little snacks and stuff. But like I said, I hadn't eaten that, none of us, because I was just trying to see where it was going. And then it was one time, you know, it was just so much going on. I said, you know, I told the salesman, I said, you know what? I said, you know, I don't look like this gonna be able to work. I said, it's okay. I said, I can just keep the car I got. He said, no, 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 no. You know, he said, we gonna make this work. And to be honest, what it was at that particular time, my credit was not so good, and they were trying to make it work. They were, what was taking so long, you know, I'm honest on this channel. What was taking so long, they were trying to find a finance company that would accept, you know, that would let me get the car. That's what it was. And so I probably could have got another kind of car or SUV, but they were trying to put me in that car, SUV, for whatever reason. And so he seen I liked it. And, you know, like I said, you know, at that time, you know, I was like, well, I already got a car. And I'm not in no need for no car. That Infiniti G37 was working fine. And, you know, I was just like, I'm the winner here, because if I walk away with not even getting that SUV, I'm okay. But as it would be, finally, they gave me the keys and everything, but they told me, said the lady come in there and she said, and then I think back on this, it was a lot of underhanded stuff being done, you know, just trying to get me in the car. Because I think well, I told them what had happened. My late husband passed away, and they were just trying to help me and stuff. I realized that. But like I said, you know, it wasn't like I was needy. I was needy, because I had, you know, I already had a car. We were good. My son had his car, you know, but, you know, I was like, well, you know, if I can get it, that's fine, but it ain't no great need to get it. You know, I already got a car. And so, but to be honest, I was grieving. I was still grieving, or hadn't even begun to grieve, really, because he had this happened in, he passed away October of 2021. We were doing this, I think a little bit, I think it was before Thanksgiving. I'm not sure if it was before Thanksgiving or before Christmas, but I know I had the car. I had the car by Christmas, so it may have been after Thanksgiving. But anyway, I know it was before the end of the year when I got the car, 2021, because I had it 2022. But anyway, you know, finally they gave me the keys and everything, but I ended up having to put such a large amount down on the car because of my credit at that time. And the woman coming in and said, well, can you do this? Can you do that? And I said, yeah. So, y'all, I wish I had never did what I did, as much as money as I put down on it, because, you know, it was just, now that I think back on it, I did not think that out clearly. First of all, I did not pray about that. I didn't ask God to bless it. I was just so happy that, you know, I was just thinking I got me, you know, my late husband passed away, and I was trying to find something to give me peace. But, you know, again, you can't find peace in material stuff. You can't find peace in no car, no person, no house, no job, none of that. It's gonna be found in Jesus Christ. But like I said, I was so happy, and you know, yeah, my husband passed away, but I got me a new car, you know, look at me. But you know, I just wasn't thinking clearly. But I willingly signed the paperwork, and the car note was a lot. I don't even want to say it on here, because it'll blow your mind how much the car note was. And because I had a high interest rate because of my credit. And like I said, that was probably a real bad mistake too that I made, and I just didn't think it out clearly. And but so as it was, I was able. We drove from there and we stopped at Chick-fil-A. I remember that, because we were just so happy, because, you know, it was just the sounds, the radio, and the kids were like, "Ooh, mama, look at this!" And the girls were excited. I was excited. We was just happy, and we was looking for something to soothe us, because, you know, he was no longer with us, and I'd be happy sometimes driving in it, and sometimes I'm like, you know, why he can't be here enjoying this with me? But to be honest, he would have never made that decision. You know, he didn't make decisions like that. You know, but like I said, I know where it came from. You know, it's just I was grieving, and I just wasn't, you know, thinking clearly. But God still kept me. He still kept us and watched over us. But I was able to make the payments on time for a whole year, the whole year of 2022, and now 2023 is when it got a little sticky. So of course we were here then, of course, and 2023, I think it was maybe summertime, or almost spring maybe, and I was having a little, you know, I was having a little issue making the payments, because you know, I had the insurance, things a little higher here in Colorado, but I had done so good, you know, that all of 2022, and I was so proud of myself. And insurance, you know, I was just able to keep everything afloat. But like I said, I didn't know we were moving here. Of course, when I got the car, you know, if I had known that, which there's no way I would have known it, only Jesus knew it. But if I have known that, I know I would have probably never got the car, because I was like, I'm not gonna be able to afford that. But I didn't know. And so anyway, when we moved here, you know, like I said, things are a lot more expensive here. You get paid more in your job, but it's the higher cost of living here. And so the insurance was higher here and everything. And so, like I said, 2023 is when I was having to make arrangements on it and everything. And I was like, oh, you know, here we go, you know. And it reminded me back when he was living, because, you know, there's something that we had to do. You know, we had to make payment arrangements on different things, and trying to make sure we had enough money to carry us over till we got paid again or whatever. So I was like, Lord, how did I get myself in this situation? You know, just not a good decision, but it felt good at the time. So then, and let me go back. So right after I got the car, the SUV, like I said, I kept my youngest son, took it he did like his dad used to do. He'd take it to the car wash and on the weekend, and Mom, I'm gonna keep it clean for you. He'll go vacuum it out, and which it wasn't, you know, it didn't get dirty because I hardly drove it. But because I was mainly at home, I was working from home, and he said, Mom, I'm gonna help keep it clean for you. And he'd go get the oil change on. I mean, but it just felt so good, y'all, to have a new car. It was new to me. It was a 2019, but I had never had a car that new. You know, all our cars, like I said, was 2007, 2005, 2012. As far as we got was 2015, I think. So that felt good, you know, 4 more years and older, and I was like, this car is nice. So I got the tags, and then here come the haters. So his family, my late husband's family, you know, they never said nothing about the car, because I guess they were like, why she get that, you know, and which, you know, that was a good reason to question that, because like I said, I probably should not have, but like I said, I did what I wanted to do. I felt like I wanted to do, and my parents, well, I would go to the house, and they said, you got a new car, and they made the biggest deal. And that was a comment made years prior to this. And my stepdad had said to me, he said, it made me feel some type of ways. I'm like, you know, you making me feel like I got a wagon outside, because our cars, like I said, they were old, but they were nice. They were nice he kept them clean and everything, and tires nice and stuff. And but my stepdad had said, when you gonna get a new car? Or he said something to that effect, like something, and I was like, you know how people say something to you, like, what's wrong with the car I got? So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there. So a lot of times people say stuff to you, you thinking you doing okay, and they'll say something to you and just kind of throw everything off. But I was like, whatever. And so, but coming back, I'm trying to think where I'm at. So coming back to where the family members, you know, they was sort of snaring at us, and, you know, had a nose stuck up at us, and, you know, okay. And then I started the church that we were going to, you know, people, you know how people just look at what you driving, and it was, like I said, that car was nice. You look it up, it's nice. It's nice on the inside and the outside, and it was smooth to drive. I would love to get on the interstate, because it was just like I was just floating. And so but going back to not being able to afford it, and so I started calling the finance company, making arrangements and stuff, and they said, we'll work with you. You know how it is. They tell you that at first, and because like I said, they saw where I had paid all that money. I never had to call and make an arrangement. I always had the money. I paid it on time, right on the date, sometimes the day before. So I had good payment history with them. And they were out of Texas, and so the lady, whoever I spoke with, and she said, yeah, I said, just pay us what you can, because I think this was June of 2023 or so, and she said, just pay us what you can, and said, you know, we'll work with you, you know, because we want to keep you in your car. And I said, that's so nice of them, And like I said, I know it's because I had been paying on time. I know that was one of the reasons they were super nice. And so, but you know how that is. They nice for a little while, and is you signed the agreement to make the payments. You gotta what is it? That's their vehicle basically. You make that was the agreement. You was gonna make the payments, and But anyway, I would send $100 or $50, whatever I could, and then it got where, as 2023, we got on into later in 2023, it was just hard for me to even, because a lot was going on. We had left the house, the rental house that we were in. The lease was up, and I could no longer afford to stay there. I mean, it was just a lot of stuff going on, and I'm like, how am I gonna pay this car note? How am I gonna pay the car insurance? How am I do all this? And everything just seemed like it just started falling down, falling apart. And so I started thinking about, I shouldn't have got this car. Was this even a good idea? Because it was a struggle. It was a struggle. And so I would keep calling them, and they never threatened to repo the car at that time. In 2023, it was just calling. You know how they do, call you. Can you make the payment? I can send you this. I can send you that. Just promise to pay. And like I said, it had just gotten where I didn't even have nothing to promise to pay, because I was working. Yes, the job that I'm on now, I was at that job, but I just didn't have no extra money, because I was trying to pay other stuff, pay rent, make sure we had food to eat. I had cell phone bills. I had this, that, and the other, and utilities. I'm like, how am I gonna juggle this big car note I got, insurance? And so anyway, a little time went on by, so we made it through 2023. Promised to pay. I seen what I can get. So 2024, of course, came in, and still was struggling trying to make a payment. And it had gotten where I was dreaded getting in the car. I dreaded, when we were living in that other condo, I dreaded, going down the stairs and getting in the vehicle, because I do the little alarm on it. I'm like, going to church or wherever in it. If I just went to the store or wherever, I'm like, here I am in this beautiful car, this beautiful SUV, and I can't even afford it. Who am I fooling? Who am I fooling? Who am I trying to impress? And that feeling to come over me, and then I go back to, look at me, I got a nice car. I go back and forth, and then I have I get that urge. Okay, I'm gonna call them, and okay, let's see. I can send them 200. I can send 400. I can do this, and then I had spoken to, now 2024 was gonna be the year that they were gonna come and get it, because they're like, okay, you really can't afford this. And so the last time I had talked with, the last few times I had talked with the finance people, car people, the lady, and like I said, I can't complain, because they were super nice to me, y'all. They gave me ample time to get caught up. They gave me ample time to make arrangements. They were just so nice. They were so nice to me. And so we understand. I told them, I was a widow, and they said, yeah, just do what you can. Send us something, And they were just, I can't lie. They were just so nice to me and so understanding. But with anything, when you got somebody's property and you got something that you said you was going to pay and handle, it's your obligation to do that. So anyway, like I said, I'm not complaining. I'm just being honest with you all, because I like telling the truth. I'm not coming on here saying they took my car and they shouldn't have did that. That was never my car, because I was making payments on it. It ain't your car until you sign the title. They give you the title and you don't pay all the payments. That's when it's your car. It's you can say it's your car, but you still making payments to the bank. And so the last, it got repossessed June or July. I think it was July of last year. And so I'll never forget, like I said, every time I would get ready to get in the car, but God, God is so good and still so faithful to me. He allowed me to keep that car until my baby girl graduated from high school, because as much as I was going back and forth from work, getting her from school, you know, her senior year, you know, I don't know what we would have did. We had my youngest son's car, but it would have been extremely hard. But God is so good. All of us talked about that before she went to college. And she said, my youngest son said, Mama, you was able to keep the car. They didn't come get the car until after she graduated. I said, exactly. A month after she graduated is when they came and got it, which I'm not bragging, but I'm saying it could have happened before because I wasn't making payments before. But like I said, I would, you know, periodically I send them a $500 payment, $800 payment, you know, just trying to show good faith, you know, she gonna pay us. And they'll make arrangements. Well, can you pay this on this date? Can you pay this on that date? So I was like, okay, they want to help me. And they really did. They were trying their best to help me. But, you know, you can't help nobody when it ain't nothing there, you know. And I'm like, I have nothing to even make arrangements with. You know, I literally had no money to pay for that. And I'm like, you know what? You know, and then I started praying. I go in my prayer closet. I said, Jesus, take the wheel, take the car, take everything. Take the wheels, take the car, take everything, because I can no longer afford this vehicle and it's getting to be a burden. And I know you don't want it to be a burden for me and my children. So do what you do, you know. And I started praying that it would be taken from me because I said, I can't afford it. I just can't afford it. But I think about all the places, y'all, that I was at, you know. Now this particular night, before the night, the day of the day that they were going to take it, which they didn't take it to that night, but the earlier that day, I had went to get my mail. Got a P.O. box here place. So I went to go get my mail, and I noticed, I know it was Jesus allowing me to notice, I noticed across the parking lot there was a man, and I feel like that was the man who was watching me to see where I lived, and or see where I was taking the car. And so he was just sitting there, and I don't know why me and him locked eyes. Like I looked up, I came out of the get my mail, and I literally just looked at him. He was just way across the parking lot, but I don't know why, I just looked at him. And he looked at me, and he didn't try to drop his head or nothing. He looked at me, and I looked at him, and I got on in the car. Didn't think nothing about it. I didn't look in the rearview mirror to see was he following me or anything. I just, you know, but I think they were checking me out, trying to see, you know, was I trying to hide the car or where the car was, you know, what's she doing, you know. But I was just doing my day-to-day stuff. And then that particular day, I didn't go to work. I didn't go to work that day, I don't think. I think I was off that day. And so that night, I did what I needed to do, and I went back to the other condo that we were in. And I don't know, I felt sort of whatever, but I didn't think no more about that. But I recall what happened, but that day, but I didn't think, you know, I wasn't like, oh, was that somebody? But it was on my mind. And so I don't even think I shared it with I don't know if I shared it with the children or not. But anyway, I went on by my business, you know, and of course nighttime came, and I always get up in the middle of the night. At that condo, I did it. I do it here, but the window was a little lower. It's a little higher here in the bedroom, but it was lower there. And I get up and I look out the window. There was just something I did, just nosy. I look out the window, and the car was like literally down. When I looked down, I could see the SUV, the top of it. So I was like, okay. And it was like maybe, I don't know, almost midnight that when I did that or whatever. And I got on back in the bed. Went to use the restroom, looked out the window, got back in the bed. Car was there. So our puppy was barking a little bit after that, and we were like, what is he barking for? But he, you know, pay attention to pets. Your dog, your puppies and dogs, so, you know, they know. And he knew, I don't know if he knew, he just knew the sound of my car, I guess, because they had, you know, cranked it up or whatever. But he was just barking. We were like, what is he barking so much for? And well, he was barking to let us know to look out the window, but I didn't budge. You know, I was in the bed and I was sleepy because I think I had to go to work the next day. And I was like, I don't know, he's just barking. And we was trying to shush him, you know, stop barking, you know, everything okay. But it wasn't okay. They were taking my car when he was barking. And so, like I said, nobody looked out the window or nothing. So I got, you know, it was already the next day or almost the next day. So I get up, like I always do, get ready to go to work, look out the window, car gone. I had a reserved slot right in front of for our condo. Car gone, empty. The parking slot space was empty. The car was not there in the parking space where I parked it at the day before. So I was like, wow. And you know, y'all, I didn't cry. I was a little like surprised because I didn't think it was gonna happen that soon. But I was like, it's really gone. But but you know what it was? It was a feeling of peace. I was like, oh, now I can breathe. You know, I wasn't thinking about, I ain't gonna have no way to get back and forth to work. I'm gonna have to Uber. I ain't gonna, you know, I'm gonna have to use my youngest son's car. I wasn't thinking about none of that. None of that mattered. But it didn't really hit me until I think the next week or so. Because that rest of that week, I think that was like on a Tuesday when that happened. And so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was sort of happy. But then reality started kicking in, you know, when I was okay, how am I gonna get to work? And at that condo, we're back close. I mean, we still are sort of close to my job, but we were super close then. And I was like, you know, okay, how am I going? I got to get back and forth to work. You know, how am I do that? You know, how am I do this? How am I do that? Church. Okay, well, we got and then that was the other thing. I was like, well, we got my youngest son's car, so we good, you know. But you know, you just don't think stuff out clearly. But God worked it all out. He worked it all out. And here I am. I still don't have a car, but I've been able to get to work. I've been able to get to Dollar Tree, to Target, to grocery store, wherever I need to go. Church. My son still got a car, so we use the car. And it's been times where all of us have to get in the car together and go somewhere, and that's okay. But we've made it work. But in Uber, got Uber. But when I went to work that Tuesday, I just, you know, I was like, oh, you know, it sort of hit me then too, because I'm so used to driving, and I look over there at the parking space where I would park the car, and I'm like, I don't have a car, you know. And I think that particular day, I can't remember if my son took me to work or if I Ubered that day. I can't remember. But anyway, like I said, I was more than anything, I wasn't embarrassed. I just felt a sigh of relief, because I was like, you know what? No, I don't have a car, but I prayed for God to take that from me, because I'm like, God, you don't want us to have stuff that's we burdened down by. That's not how that works. And like I said, I feel like, you know, I don't feel like I was taking advantage of getting a car, but I put way too much money down on it. I really couldn't afford it with the payments, but I still went on through it, and I did my best. But God was like, I didn't ordain that for you. You know, you got that because it was pretty. You got that because that's what you wanted. And you were still grieving. You weren't thinking clearly. And this is the result of it. You know, I did that to myself. But at work, you know, I had went ahead and told my former boss. I told her, my manager, and she said, oh, and she let me be off a few days, because I was like, whew, I was trying to think out everything. But it wasn't anything to think about, because I had to work, you know. So my youngest son, he's like, Mama said, you know, I do, you know, we'll share my car and blah, blah. And I said, I know. I said, but it just, you know, it started hitting me then. You ain't got a car, woman. You ain't got a car. And I've always had a car. I've had a car way back as far back as I can remember. I've always had a car. And I'm like, whoa. And I said, well, God, that's another prayer God answered. Yes, he do answer prayer. And I just didn't know he's going to answer it that quick, because even my youngest son, he said, Mama, I didn't think they was going to come get it to maybe the end of the year. I said, no, because they said, this, okay, your time up, woman, because we don't try to help you, and it ain't, we can't help you. And like I said, it was only fair, you know, I'm driving around in their car, and I owed him. You know, I was behind like 2 or 3 months, and I tried to pay a little bit here, a little bit there, and here come another payment due. And I would always pay through my over the computer. And oh, and I want to share this too. So the day before they came and got it, the man had said, I talked to, he said, I told him, you know, they always verify your information. They ask you what kind of car you got, and you verify your name and social or whatever, and make sure you are who you say you are. And so he said, where is the car? That's what he said. He said, where is the car now? And I said, I'm in the car talking to you. And because, you know, I had my car, what do you call that? Bluetooth. So I could, you know, get calls through the car, you know, everybody, and talk through the car. So I was talking to him, I think, through the car. And he said, so the car, you're in the car is with you? That's what he said. And I said, yeah. And so it didn't even dawn on me until after that conversation, or after they came and got the car, that he was trying to make sure that I was at the address where they had me located at, you know. And he said, so you're in the car now? I said, yeah. So they probably, you know, and so he said, well, I just want to let you know that they are en route to repossess your car. He said, if you don't make this payment. So the payment he was asking me to make that night was like $300 and something. And then, but I was going to still have to play catch up. That was just to keep them from coming to get the car. And I didn't have it. I didn't have it, y'all. And I said, well, that's what I said. I said, well, knowing I ain't had the money, I said, well, let me check my bank account and I'll send it if I have it. And he said, ma'am, they are en route he told me, he said, ma'am, they are en route to come get your car. So you need to send this money before midnight. And see, they took it after midnight. And they were already here in Colorado. They were already here to get it. And so I said, you know, and I knew I ain't had the money. I didn't have the money. I didn't have it. And I think if I even had it, it wasn't even worth trying to keep it. Because one, I had already prayed for God to take it from me. And two, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm going to pay this $300 something tonight. I'm going to keep them from taking the car tonight. Yeah, I'm going to have a car maybe the rest of this week. What's going to happen next week? So I'm like, let's just sit. Well, it ain't even worth it. So, like I said, but yeah, he asked me that, and even my youngest son, he said, Mama said, I just didn't know they can come. How did they get? I said, son, because you know, children like sometimes they don't understand stuff. I told him, I said, son, I said they got their set of keys just like I got my set of keys. And I said, he said, I thought I just saw that like on the social media. I said, no, that's real life right there. They do that in real life. And I said, they know where your car at. They knew where mine was at. They know where everybody's car at. And I said, it may take a little time. You know, you can move to New Mexico. You can move to wherever you want to move to. They know where you at. They know where you at. Because a lot of these cars, that car had a GPS system in it. So they knew exactly where that car was at. And I wasn't trying to hide it anyway. I was being honest. I told him, I said, I'm in the car talking to you right now. And he said, oh, and I don't know if he was surprised because I was being honest, but I'm like, what am I lie for? I mean, where am I hiding it, you know? But I know people do stuff like that, but I'm like, no, you know, I was telling them I couldn't afford it. But anyway, yeah, so they came and got it. And then going back to, so I told my manager, former manager at the job I'm at now, and she was like, I'm so sorry. She said, I wish I knew somebody I wish I had an extra car to loan you or something. I said, that's okay. And so she was telling me, you know, to ask around at the job to see could I carpool with somebody. And God never steered me to go that way. You know, I wasn't trying to be whatever, you know, whatever about it. But I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to do something I did with my own hands. So I gotta, what they say, you make your bed hard, you gotta lay in it. So I'm like, this was done with, I did this. So I gotta deal with it, you know. And I wasn't even embarrassed, to be honest. I wasn't embarrassed at all. I felt more at peace than I ever when I was riding in it. And so, and if you look back on my videos, a lot of my videos I made in that vehicle. But anyway, like I said, the reality started setting in because at work, I would see different, you know, I was like, oh, I don't have a car. I'm 50. This is when I was 50. I'm 50 years old. Well, 51 too. So I don't have a vehicle. And I sort of felt, like bummy. I'm like, I don't even have a car. And, I see all these other women getting in their cars and stuff. And here I am. I got to get my phone out and call a Uber or whatever. And I had told quite a few of my coworkers, and one lady, she said, "You prayed for them to come get your car?" I said, "Yeah, because I couldn't afford it." And a lot of times people don't understand where you're coming from because they ain't never been there. But then I had a few people tell me, they say, "Yeah, I'm making arrangements on my car now. I don't want that to happen to me." I said, "Yeah, keep them payment arrangements up." But anyway, I was just being honest and stuff and forthcoming with people because, like I said, it was what it was, But I never was led to ask anybody to come, could I ride with them for work, or can I do this, can I do that? God never led me to do that. And he said, "I'm gonna help you." And then, like I said, when we moved in with the lady from church, those 3 months, of course, I didn't have a car then. And, that's when Uber really came in effect then, because it was sort of, didn't have to really worry about, I did when we were in the condo, but I'm saying it just really, everything came to light. Like, I ain't got no car. And so I had to, let me go back. I want to share this. So a lot of times I would, on my breaks, I would, it was in the summertime, so I would go out, and that was one thing I loved doing. I could go in the car on my 30-minute lunch break, go out there, wouldn't really eat nothing because I really wasn't hungry. Go in the car, make a video short, whatever, and, sit in my car and say, whew. And, even though the car wasn't even paid for, but I was enjoying that car. And so after the car got repoed, God said, "I'm with you. I got you." And I held my head up high. And it was one day, the Holy Spirit said, "Keep doing what you was doing, resume." And so I put my purse on my arm, put my straps on my arm, my purse, and I went outside. I went outside, y'all, like I was going to my car, which I'm going to my car pretty soon. That car is on the way, my new car, but from heaven. So, but you would have thought I was like, "Where's she going?" And I walk around. You check out some of the videos I made. I was walking around. I was walking around my job, the building, and it'd be hot outside. I had my little cup and whatever. And when I was eating ice, had my little cup of ice, and I make good at that 30 minutes. So, well, I ain't got no car to sit in. And that first day or so, when I actually had to, that was when the car was fresh, when it had got repoed, I was like, I ain't got no car. It started sinking in quick. But then, as time went on, 2 weeks later, I was like, so? And I said, the devil, you a liar. And I walk around that parking lot making them videos and talking, and I be talking to my children, FaceTime, because that's when they were in, we were living with her. They were in Tennessee then for that month. And I'd be on FaceTime talking to them. And I just made the best out of it. And I'll never forget, I was in the Uber. Because, a lot of times, we allow situations to get the best of us. But what we go through, we got to grow through. Grow through what we go through. And, we want to have our head bowed down and, I don't know how. But see, I couldn't do that because that was my fault. I should have never got that car. But that car, we needed that SUV to get here to Colorado because we drove here. So we needed it. I feel like we needed it. God, even though I didn't get the best deal with it or my credit wasn't good then, whatever, but he allowed me to have it. And I had it from 2021 he allowed me to have it to 2024. So, I have no regrets or anything about it. I do. I wish I had just thought it out more clearer. And I should have took, maybe I should have took my stepdad with me or somebody, but I was just trying to, you don't want nobody in your business and stuff. And I was trying to that was my first time actually doing that by myself. Because when my late husband was living, he did, he knew all about stuff like that. But I was just trying to grow up and do stuff. But, I didn't fail at it. I just, like I said, it wasn't about failing, succeeding. It just wasn't a good decision. That's all it was. I should have probably waited, or I don't know. I could have got another SUV. And it didn't have to be a 2019, but it was appealing. It was pretty. It was nice. It was bells and whistles. That's how they get you. You know, that's how they get you. You know, go test drive it. And you know, if we all be honest, when we test drive that car ours. It's ours. It's ours. Cause you know who is very what 10%, 5% of people who that don't end up getting it, and if they don't end up getting it, it's because they can't get it. But most likely, if you test drive a car, that's your car. You ain't gonna let that car go. But again, the car was repossessed, and I know, like I said, the Lord already done told me I'm gonna get another car this year, and y'all stay tuned for that testimony. But and it's gonna be miraculous. And like I said, I was sharing with some people at work, and a lot of them, there was a lady there. A lot of times God will allow someone to share their same testimony with me. And next thing you know, he's blessing me. And so I was talking to a lady, a coworker there of course at my job, and she didn't have a car. She was Ubering. I didn't even know she was Ubering, but she worked a later shift than me. And she said, yeah, so the Lord blessed me. And she was telling me how the Lord blessed her through somebody at her church. And I said, yeah, he faithful. And then, but thank you, Holy Spirit. The lady who we were living with, she had told me, she said, the church we go to, she said, they got a board downstairs. And so she, you know, it's like a help wanted, you know, everybody use that board to, you know, you need a babysitter, you know, like what is it? Just a help board, or if you got something you're trying to sell, or whatever you call them boards. And so it's just a bunch of business cards on there where people don't wrote sticky notes and put up their information, whatever. And so she had told me when we were living with her, she said, you should put on the board that you're in need of a car. Excuse me. And I said, well, you know, because I wasn't against it at first. And I said, well, I said, you mean that board that's downstairs? Because I was familiar with the board she was talking about. And she said, yeah. She said, you just never know who's looking at that board. And so maybe somebody got an extra car, or got a car that they can loan you, or you can, you know, not have to pay a lot of money for or something. And I said, yeah. And then when she said that, it stayed on my mind. So I literally wrote the note out up in the bedroom upstairs that I was living in that night or day or whatever, and I laid it on the cabinet thing, and I was gonna take it to church that, you know, Sunday or whatever Sunday was coming up. And I, you know, for whatever reason, I just didn't feel like that's what God wanted me to do. And I go by that board all the time, but I was just like, you know. And then it was a lady at the church, because God said, I'm gonna get the credit for this. Nobody else gonna get the credit. Just like he gets the credit for this place. Nobody else can get it. He got it. But and I'm gonna share that later, how this all happened. But it's not time. But what I'm trying to remember here to say, there was another lady at our church, and I was trying to let her know, and she said, yes, the lady, she's telling about some lady, her husband, some lady she knew, the husband to that lady, he had a car lot, or he had a lot of cars or something. And she said, she told me, so I gave her your email, and she gonna supposed to be getting in contact with you. So I didn't hear from the lady, because I got excited about that. We were still living with the lady from church, and I was like, "Ooh, thank you, Jesus." And nothing. Never did hear anything else about that. God didn't want that to go through. And so I went back to the lady who told me this, and I said, "What email is the lady?" You know, because she had told me. She said, "Just email her." But she had gave the lady my contact information and everything. I never received nothing from her. But she said she was gonna try to help me get a car. Nothing. And so the lady at the church, she said, and it was weird because I told her, she said, you haven't heard from her? I said, no. And after that, it's like she wasn't interested anymore. And then I had mentioned again to her, just real sly, like, you know, about, yeah, I'm still praying for a car or whatever. And because it seemed like when we was living with the lady from church, it was really starting to, you know, weigh on me about not having a car, because, you know, I was having the Uber, and then I was just sort of not having money to do that sometime. And, you know, I don't know, it was a little weighing on me pretty heavy there, but not here, but it was there. And so it was just a lot of uneasiness there anyway, because I felt like I shouldn't have made that decision, but neither here nor there. That's in the past. God got us through. But when I said it to her the last time about this lady who said she knew knew a lady husband worked for a car lot or whatever, she was just like, you know, it was almost like, get out of my face, I don't want to talk about that. She said, yeah, you got to go to God about that. So I was like, okay, you know. But like I said, we got to be careful, and I wasn't trying to bother her with what my bad decision or what I had to deal with. But what I'm saying, y'all, we're so quick to look down upon somebody else. And I just think about, and I don't think she was looking down upon me, but I'm saying we push people, when people are going through something, we push them to the side if we good, you know, if we good. Now if you come to me, or somebody at my job come to me, which they come to me all the time telling me stuff, God allows me to pray with them and to help them or whatever any way I can. I don't just shun them and say, well, I'm, you know, in my mind, I'm good. Get out of my face. I don't want to hear about your problem. I don't do that. I said, let's pray. Or I'll be praying for you, that God make a way for you. But it's some people, they feel like they got it so good. And I really believe this. I really believe this with everything I have in my heart. That's why when they lose things, God allows them to lose things, or whatever happens for them to lose stuff. That's why they can't grasp it. That's why they have such a hard time dealing with things, because they have not had compassion for other people, and they've never had to deal with no hardships, or as so they think. And you know, like I said, when somebody come my way saying that they going through something, that's on my mind, you know. And I just noticed God allowed me, not everybody, but just a few people, but God allowed me, while, you know, I was going through this, when we were living with the lady, and then I didn't have a car, and then, you know, a lot of people were sort of sympathetic, you know, oh, you know, and I said, no, you don't have to feel sorry for me. I said, I couldn't make the payments. And then I had got in an Uber one morning, and the man said, y'all, I'm just real. I'm sorry. I'm just, you want real, come to this channel, because I don't have time to pretend. This authentic over here. But he was looking at me through the rearview mirror, and he said, it was early that morning. He said, oh, you Ubering? Said, your car in the shop? I said, no, it got repossessed. And I smiled, and he looked in the mirror like, what? But I'm like, I'm telling the truth. What I'm gonna say? Oh yeah, it's in the shop. No, yeah, it is in the shop. It's in the shop because it got repossessed. That's why it's in the shop. And so it's in the repossessed shop. But it was so funny. I laughed because I told my children about that. And I told somebody at work about that. They were laughing. They said, well, it's good you can laugh about it. I said, well, I have nothing else to do about it. I said, I could not afford the payments. Okay? Well, it's not, you know, it ain't hard to understand. When you can't do something, you just can't do it. You just can't do it. So, like I said, we got to quit pretending. You know, that's why God can't fully do a great work in us. Well, he can do anything. He can do the impossible stuff. But I'm saying, you know, a lot of times we got to be real. Quit being fake. Quit, you know, I could have said, well, you know, they just took it. They didn't let me make pay. No, they did everything right. I the one did wrong. I the one couldn't make the payments. I the one made the bad decision. And like I said, I put money down on it. I probably shouldn't have. I should have just sought some advice on that. But my youngest son, he was trying to help me. We were just trying to be a team together. And we didn't do bad. But we just, like I said, I just should have thought more about that. But it's okay. It's okay, because like I said, that car served its purpose. And, you know, maybe that's all it was supposed to do. Just get us here. And my children even said, so, Mom, I think that's all it was supposed to do. And like I said, I think about all them times where I had parked that car, and I'm just thankful that it didn't get repo while I was at church, or I don't know if they do it at churches, but on the parking lot. But it was a lot of places, like isolated places I was going, stores and you know, I don't know how long they had been watching me or whatever, surveying the car, but you know, I could have come out from wherever and the car just gone. And I think that God knew, because that would have been a real big shock for me, and I probably would have been real sad if it had happened that way. But he allowed me to be safe and sound at home, and I had did everything I needed to do that day. But the only thing, though, I sort of regret, I had left, but the Holy Spirit had come across my mind to clean the car out. Because you get a feeling, it's like something happen. Because I had been praying. That they come get it. But like I said, I sort of thought how my youngest son thought. I was like, well, yeah, it ain't gonna be this soon. But no, it was super soon. But I had left a few, like my sunglasses in the car, and you know, they not gonna leave none of, they ain't trying to knock on your door and give you your stuff. They take, they taking everything, they taking the car and everything. But one thing I don't understand, y'all, is that it was still sort of a mystery to me, and it really ain't a mystery, really, but the place that we were in when the car got repoed was gated. And so we had a little buzzer thing, you know, a clicker thing that got us in and out the gate. So the gate will automatically open when you were leaving out, but when you coming in, you had to have the little clicker. So I don't understand that part unless they sat and waited and they tailgated somebody in there. But that was pretty late at night, so I don't know. Maybe they tailgated somebody in there. I don't know. But like I said, it don't even matter. The car gone, and I'm thankful that it's gone, because, you know, who want to be driving around a beautiful car and that they can't even afford? And my youngest son used to always say, he said to me, he said, Mama, this car like what's the rich people got? You know, and I said, yeah. I said, yeah, that's what it feel like. You know, that's when we first got it. I was like, look at me. I don't come up in the world. Well, that lasted for a little while. But you know, one thing about it, when God gives you things, it's eternal. You know, it's gonna, you know, you can count, you gonna have it for a long time. But like I said, I didn't pray about that car. I didn't ask God to bless that car. I just got it and on my own, and so that's what happened. So that's why we gotta always go to God about everything. Make sure that it's in His holy will, whatever you're doing, because a lot of times we do stuff because we want to do it, and then we gotta suffer the consequences. But in this case, you know, I didn't feel like I suffered any consequences, because you know, I admit it. You know, it was just evident I couldn't afford it. I never could. But I sure tried. To afford it. So as always, I pray you enjoyed hearing this testimony. I pray it was a blessing to you. I pray you always hear Jesus speaking through me and not just me. I pray you have had a beautiful, blessed Saturday in the mighty name of Jesus. I'm going to try to upload y'all a video every day. I was going to do another video after this one, but I'm still trying to wash clothes and do laundry and stuff. So I may not get to do that today. So I may end up doing those 2 videos tomorrow. But I'm trying to be super consistent. But I love you, but remember, Jesus loves you so much more. The best is still yet to come for you and for me. God bless you. God keep you is my prayer. Have a beautiful, blessed evening. In the mighty name of Jesus, may the Lord continue to encamp His holy angels around you and your family, both day and night, is my prayer. Thank you all so much for subscribing and for listening to these videos. Bye-bye. I love you with the love of Christ.